2.
107.6 Dawn FM.
Sonic listeners, and you're listening to Radio 107.6 FM with me, your host Yasar, on Radio. You can listen to us live and direct anywhere in the world at www.radiodawn.com. That's what I said it again, haven't I? And now it's time for the Tech Clinic. We've got our guest presenter with us on the telephone line today. Ghufran Shah. Let's give him a salam and welcome him to the program. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Yasar, and listeners of Radio Dawn. How's everybody doing?
Well, I hope they're doing fine, but I can answer on their behalf for myself, I guess. Alhamdulillah, I'm fine.
Beautiful. Maybe we should give a prize for the first person to call in and ask a question gets a free answer.
Whoa, that's even a surprise for me. Right, so do you want to give us a brief introduction and then we'll get started?
Another instruction about...
just the program, I guess.
Yasar Tanveer, one of our shining stars in Nottingham, a beautiful presenter. As you know, has thought of this wonderful idea of getting a number of presenters in remote regions all together between 8 and 9 o'clock, so a magazine show. So hats off to Yasar for coordinating all of this. It went really smoothly last week, mashallah, but just for the listeners, I'm sure you can appreciate the logistical nightmare Yasar has to make sure everybody's on time and they don't go on and on. I'm quite fortunate because I've got the last slot, so I can go on and on like a washing machine. But yeah, so yeah, this is the Tech Clinic, which we've coined it. So this show is really to answer all your questions related to technology, consumer, retail, even work, professional type of technology questions. So we're here to help, and we don't promise to answer every question, but we'll do our best, and things we can't answer live on show, we'll try and get back to you either via email or via Facebook. So there is a Facebook group that Yasar is promoting the show on, and there's also, you can email tech@radiodawn.com, and you can text Yasar, you can call in the radio studio for pretty much any technology-related question. So we had some nice questions last week, and this week we've got some corkers, I might say. So we've got some beautiful questions from the listeners out there. Can you hear me okay, Yasar?
I can hear you perfectly fine. I'm guessing that all the listeners can hear you perfectly fine as well, because through my headset I can hear you crispy clear.
Okay, so I've got a bit of a chesty cough, so I'm going to have to be taking regular sips of water to forgive the pauses. So shall we move on without further ado to the first question?
Yes, let's go for it. So the first question that we had was, what is routing for mobile handsets?
Okay, the term routing generally or specifically applies to those users of Android handsets. So when you root your Android handset, what you're doing is you're basically removing all restrictions the manufacturer has put in. That term root comes from the Unix environment, where the root user is a super user who can pretty much do anything they want on the operating system. So the term routing is applying some special techniques to your phone to make it free, in the sense that you can install any software you like. You can do any type of customization. So what tends to happen is a lot of the handsets you get, Android ones from the providers, will have some restrictions on them. You might not be able to uninstall certain pieces of software. There may be restrictions on the styles you can put on them. When you root that device, you can then install your own custom firmware, and you can pretty much do whatever you want on that device. So it's not something for everybody to do. You've got to be pretty advanced and know what you're actually doing. If you get things wrong, you could brick your phone. Bricking your phone is rendering it useless. It becomes as useful as a brick.
Right.
So, that term routing is specific to Android handsets. In the iPhone world, iPad and so on, you've got the term jailbreaking, which is a similar concept where you're enabling the use of software which the manufacturer didn't initially intend you to install on. So you can customize the handset and pretty much have all the power you want on your phone.
And would you say both of these would actually avoid the warranty as well?
Got to be careful there. You probably would avoid the warranty. There are some legal implications of you actually doing jailbreaking your phone or rooting your phone. There's a philosophical discussion about this, and people, especially in Europe, the Free Software Foundation, argue that it's actually legal to actually root your device, but they're saying it may void your warranty if you can prove any defect with your phone was not as a result of you jailbreaking the actual device. So just got to be careful. If you don't want to void your warranty, then just don't do it. If you're not sure what you're doing, just don't do it. If you're a power user, then you might be comfortable doing it. So yeah, it all depends what your requirements are.
Excellent. Okay, so let's move on towards our second question, which is on Instagram. And the question is asked, should I continue to use them after recent news on them selling pictures for advertisements?
Yeah, so Instagram recently announced some changes in their terms of service, where they said that they would have the right to sell any picture a user posts without informing the user. So there was no even an opt-in clause to allow Instagram to actually sell your pictures. There's been some kind of outcry with the user community, and Instagram have kind of changed the policy. They responded to that outcry from the users, and they did actually say they've got no intention to resell photos. So they have promised to change the terms of service. However, if you go to instagram.com/about, you'll see their complete terms of service. So it's really, users of Instagram can make their own mind up. If you don't want, or if you're scared that Instagram will actually be selling your photos and you don't want them to actually do that, then download your photos and close your account. I mean, you've got the right to do that. But you'd have to get to the Instagram.com website and see what the current situation is, because things are changing, and the current terms of service are in effect from the 19th of January. So there's still some time there, and there's a huge legal document which you can go through and read if you got the time, and if you can stay awake, like all legal documents are. So it's like on Facebook as well. Things you're posting there are potentially available to anyone to see. So would you be advertising your personal situation, what you're doing outside your front door or in the market square? And that's how the internet is. So you are exposing yourself. You're in control how much of yourself you want to expose. So if you're not happy with the policy, then close your account. Simple as.
Excellent. Okay, so moving on towards our next question, which is, what is better, the S3 or the iPhone 5? And the brackets have put down not opinions, but according to specs.
Yeah, this is one of your questions, wasn't it? Yes.
No, this is...
We've had this...
I am 100% saying this is on air now. This is not one of my questions.
Okay.
This is what I was between
for the listener. We've, Yasar and I, for the past, 10, 15 years, whatever, we've always had this ongoing debate between iPhones versus Samsung Galaxies or Samsungs and so on. Again, I'm not going to be biased. I'm going to keep it factual. So I've come across a number of pieces of information for the listeners here. So I'm going to give you 18 reasons for the Apple iPhone based on the specs, and then 21 reasons for the Samsung Galaxy, again based on specs. And just because one's got 18 and one's got 21, that doesn't mean one's better than the other. It's for the listeners to actually judge based on their requirements, what they're going to be using the handset for. Okay, so let's look at the reason for the Apple iPhone. Apple iPhone has a dedicated camera button, whereas the Samsung doesn't. Okay, if you're undertaking your pictures and you want to have a continuous autofocus when you're recording movies, then the Apple has that, and the Samsung doesn't. If you want less shutter lag, the Apple has a shutter lag of 24 seconds. So that's basically how long the camera needs to take a photo without having to focus. Okay. So the Apple has a lag of 0.24 seconds, whereas the Samsung are slightly longer at 0.35 seconds. Again, on the camera, autofocus tracking, the iPhone has that, whereas the Samsung doesn't. There's a startup delay for the iPhone is 0.84 seconds, whereas the Samsung is 0.99 seconds. So the Samsung is a little bit slower there. Okay. The iPhone has 3 microphones, as opposed to 2 microphones that the Samsung has. So the more microphones you have, the better the sound quality. It helps the actual device to filter out some of the unwanted background noise. So if you are going to be using your phone for doing lots of recordings, take that into consideration. The iPhone can come with 64 gigabytes of internal memory. Okay, so this is just internal storage, whereas the Samsung has 16 gigabytes of internal storage. Download speeds are faster on a wireless or LAN connection, whereas the iPhone has 100 megabit versus the Samsung has 42 megabit, right? So that's connectivity. But on the physical dimensions, the iPhone's slightly narrower. It's 12 millimeters narrower than the Samsung. It's thinner, 1 millimeter thinner. Whether you'll notice that, I'm not sure. And it's lighter. It's 21 grams lighter. So that's an important tip there, depending on your size of your hand, I suppose. And it's shorter as well, so it's a lot more cuter. Can I say cuter? Is that biased? No, probably can't. So it's shorter. It's got less body volume. Pixel density, it's got a slightly higher pixel density, which will affect the resolution of the images that you see and the general appearance. The operating system, this is interesting, there's around 750,000 apps for the iPhone, whereas there's 700,000 apps for Samsung, so about 8% more. I don't know, you're not going to be downloading all of those or buying all of those. And the camera has a wider aperture, so quite a few things from a specification point, focusing on the camera and the size. On the flip side, looking at the actual Samsung Galaxy S3, 21 reasons for purchasing that one. Again, we're focusing on the specs. The Galaxy on paper has a sizably faster CPU clock speed. So the Samsung is 2.3 times faster than the iPhone. So the Samsung has got 4 1.4 gigahertz CPUs, and so that's a quad CPU, whereas the iPhone has 2 1.2 gigahertz CPUs. This is again a big plus for some people. The iPhone doesn't play Flash out of the box. The S3 does play Flash content, Adobe Flash. The browser has word wrap on the Samsung Galaxy, not on the iPhone. Wireless charging is available for the Samsung, not for the iPhone. It's interesting, where you don't need to be physically plugged into a cable or a port to charge your phone. Okay. Samsung has a removable battery. The iPhone device is pretty much all enclosed. If you do want to do some repairs, you've got to get a special screwdriver, and you will probably void your warranty. Samsung has more battery power, or 46% more battery power. Again, that could be important for people on the move all the time. The Samsung can be charged with a USB cable, a normal standard USB dongle. However, with the iPhone, you've got to get an adapter which converts the Lightning connector to a micro USB or mini USB, whatever it is.
Yep.
Samsung does have a higher resolution, 27% higher resolution, and has this Corning Gorilla Glass, which is extremely durable. That would have been useful for me when I dropped my iPhone face down on the kitchen tile. It smashed the screen. The screen's bigger on the Samsung as well. It's 20% bigger, so 4.8 inches versus 4 inches. So who says size doesn't matter? In some cases, size does matter. There's something called a specific absorption rate, which describes how much radio frequency energy is absorbed by the device. So the Samsung has got less of the rating, which is a good thing. There is a legal limit on devices which capture radiation. The legal limit is 1.6 W per kilogram. The iPhone has 1.18, so it's just below the legal limit. So the Samsung has 0.55. You can get a USB mass storage, so you can transfer files when your iPhone or your Samsung's plugged into your USB port. Yeah, I think you can do that on the iPhone 5 now as well. That Samsung has a micro SD slot, so you can increase the storage space to whatever the capacity of your micro SD card is. It can stream videos and movies to other devices, so the Samsung has DLNA support. That's a protocol that allows you to stream your media content, so the iPhone doesn't have that. This is a good one. Those of you who listen to Radio Dawn on a regular basis and need to have an FM radio, the Samsung does have an FM radio.
Right.
That comes with the headset. It's got an NFC, and Yasar, can you remember what NFC was from last week?
Near field communication.
There you go. So that supports an NFC. The Samsung, we're almost finished. It has a bigger camera.
Yep.
1.9 megapixels as opposed to the iPhone's 1.2. And it's got a faster shutter speed, 5 times faster shutter speed. So it's 1/10,000th of a second versus the iPhone's 1/2000th of a second. And a longer exposure. So the exposure is just the amount of light that you're going to allow to fall on the image during the process of taking a photograph. Okay, so it's 1 lux versus iPhone's 1/15th. And it has a serial shoot mode, so you can take multiple pictures in a row. Not sure if the Samsung has panorama pictures, whereas the iPhone does. Okay, so that's a kind of a straight spec by spec comparison of the devices. If you're somebody who likes to have a single integrated solution, then you may consider the whole iTunes, Apple TV, iPad value proposition, where you've got one device, one operating system, so you can pick up an iPhone and you'll see the usage will be the same as your iPad and your Apple TV. If you're somebody that doesn't like to be locked down to a particular vendor, then you may like the freedom that Samsung offers, so you can get a Samsung phone, and you can get a different type of tablet running Android. So I mean, there's what's better is for you to decide, but they've both got their pros and cons, and we're going to see more changes, I suppose, as you move on to the newer handsets next year, and they're changing at such a rapid pace. I mean, there's not that much between the two handsets now.
Okay. Okay, that's excellent. Thank you very much for that. Let's move on towards the next question then. Any news on the iPhone 6 or the S4?
Okay, yeah, so that's kind of a timely question. There's nothing official on Apple's website, and Apple are really they keep the cards close to the chest right until the actual announcements. There are some rumors, however, and pretty much looking at the way Apple and Samsung release their devices and their cycle time of the devices, most probably will have iPhone 6 released before summer next year, summer 2013, and the iPhone 6 might even be called the iPhone 5S, based on the previous approach Apple had, or the Galaxy S4. Chances are the 6 will have a bigger camera, more crispier HD camera. It may even be the saying that it's going to be the first phone that can come in different colors. So just like you've got the iTouch and iPods in different colors, you can get pink and blue and green and whatever. And also support that or rumors that the iPhone 6 will have up to 128 gigabytes of internal storage. The S4, however, what they're saying again is just rumors. They may be right, they may be wrong. Who knows? A rumor is a rumor. People are saying it'll have a 13 megapixel camera, which is pretty impressive, and a 5-inch 1080p display, so you can display watch your HD movies on it. And they're saying the S4 could have two. Are you sitting down? Yasar? 2 quad-core processors.
Whoa.
8 cores at a serious speed. Whether you need
you
that
really
separate.
need that. Yeah.
Exactly. That's just a rumor. There's nothing on the Apple website, nothing on the Samsung website. Just on looking at the forums and some of the other websites, you'll see these kind of rumors. But I'm pretty sure there will be a new iPhone next year and a newer Samsung next year.
Super.
Before June, I'd predict.
Yeah.
Allah knows best.
Allah knows best. Moving on to the next question. Can you compare for me a reasonably priced laptop for £500 or less, and tell me which one would be the best to buy overall, looking at specs and aesthetics?
Okay, right. So that's an interesting one. Laptops, again, the price of laptops are changing pretty much, I'd say, weekly. The way I always approach this is I'll set a budget, so the person who asked the question is on the right track. They've got their budget of £500. That's their upper limit. I'd walk into a store that sells laptops and just try and touch and feel one and see what looks good, and then look for the best price online. So looking online for around £500, the ones that really stand out are from Samsung and Acer. So we look at the Samsung ones first. There's a Samsung one, again, these are just on that borderline of $499.
Sure.
There's one here with it's a 15-inch screen with an A10 processor and 8 gigabytes of RAM. So when you're looking at these, look for a minimum of 4 GB RAM. And we spoke about this last week as well. The more RAM, the faster it's going to be.
Yeah.
So for just under £500, you can get a very powerful machine, which you could use for doing graphic design. You could use virtual machines on there. It's a very powerful machine. It also depends what the person is going to be doing. If they're just going to be doing word processing and using email, not really using the full power of the machine, then they could probably get away with something like a Toshiba, which is a bigger screen, a 17-inch screen for $369, 4 gigabytes of RAM, Intel iCore i3 processor. And you can even come down to Sony's, which are around £400. So I mean, some of the Acer ones, they look really, really nice, thin, and you can get different colors. 395, 15 inches. It's a bit of a workhorse, and it's attractively priced. So What the person should do, I recommend, is to go to Google and search for laptops for £500. And you'll see quite a few of the websites like Which and CNET. They'll have a number of reviews which compare the specs. So nothing less than 4 gigabytes of RAM. And nowadays you get 500 gigabyte hard drive, which is pretty standard. So you get away with getting a nice laptop for £350, to be honest. I mean, the laptops have gone down in price. I wouldn't buy a second-hand one nowadays. You can go to Gumtree or eBay and you'll see people selling laptops for £250, £300.
Yeah.
It's a second-hand machine. It can come with all the stress of buying a second-hand for £50 more. You can get a new one with the manufacturer's warranty as well. So in these times where times are hard for many people, every penny does count. So I wouldn't go wasting money buying second-hand stuff. And don't go wasting money doing impulse buys, buying in the store the first time you see something. Have a look. If you like how it looks, then always look online. And you'll find some of the shops will have online websites where the same product might be cheaper. Yeah. And also you can get price comparison websites. Type in the model number, and you'll see the cheapest supplier with that particular device.
Excellent. And obviously the advice you just gave there actually will make that person save a few £100 as well. So that's superb. Let's move on towards the next question, which is why when I plug in my iPhone into iTunes, it does nothing. How can I fix that?
Okay, that's an interesting one. We'll need to understand a bit more about what this person's doing. If it's a brand new iPhone and they've plugged it in for the first time, I'll check that they've got the right version of iTunes. Always get the latest version of iTunes on their machine. Make sure the cable's plugged in properly. If you do have access to another computer, try that. Or if you've got more than one USB port, and most computers do, try plugging it into a different USB port. For new iPhones, when you plug them into a machine with iTunes installed, as long as iTunes is installed successfully, then the device should be recognized. If it's an existing phone and you've done an upgrade, a recent upgrade of new iOS, then it's worth looking at your version of iTunes. Make sure you've got the right version of iTunes. Try another cable if you can, and also try another computer if you can. If all else fails, try reinstalling iTunes. Okay, well, that should that may clean something that was causing iPhone not to be detected. What you should normally find is as soon as you plug in the device in the USB, the computer just recognizes it. If the computer doesn't recognize it, then it could be a faulty cable or faulty USB port on the computer. It'd be interesting to see if that person does, if they can maybe call in or send an email again and just let us know how they get on, suppose on knowing a bit more about the problems they're having.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. I mean, it could, just to add on to that, it could even be the handset, couldn't it? It's a possibility of that.
Yeah, it could be the handset, but it's an Apple handset, which don't go wrong. But I can't say that. I can't be biased.
There is a possibility. Let's put it that way. Okay, let's move on to our next question, which is, could you explain to me, in a very simple way, what Linux daemons is?
Oh, Linux daemons. I'm loving the person who asked this question. So, a Linux daemon, a daemon is basically, it's a process always running in the background. So on Linux and Unix operating systems, when you turn the actual machine on and you log into your account, you'll see lots of things will be running in the background. And the daemon is just another process that always runs in the background. So it's a bit like on your Windows machine when you log into Windows. Yep. And there'll be things running in the background. And when you go to Task Manager, you will see processes running. So the Windows term is called a process. It's sometimes called a service. On Linux, it's called a daemon. And that word daemon is a bit of a trivia. It actually came from the Greek word where the Greeks used to have these daemons who were doing things in the background that the leaders couldn't do. So that term made its way into the Unix world where you've got these processes always running in the background and doing things. An example might be an email process. So when we send emails, when we press send, that email is sent to a server somewhere, and on that server there'll be an email process running all the time, and that email process is called a daemon.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Let's move on towards the next question then. We've got is Chrome browser keeps crashing every time I try to run anything with Flash. What do I do to fix this?
Okay, this looks like a problem with the Flash plugin. Okay, so you see, Flash has always been problematic on many devices, and that's why some vendors choose not to render their content in Flash. Some people choose HTML5, but that's again a separate discussion. What you can do is in your Chrome, if you start your Chrome and don't browse to a site that's displaying Flash, just go to a non-Flash website, and you can type in about plugins in the URL, and that will show you which plugins you've got installed. In fact, it's not about now; it's Chrome. So
Okay.
in the address bar, if you type in Chrome, CHROME, and // and the / key is the key that's next to the right shift key. It's on the left-hand side of the right shift key.
Right.
So press / plugins, PLUGINS. And that should show you a list of all the plugins that have been installed in your Chrome. And if you scroll down and look for Shockwave, chances are you've got 2 or 3 Shockwave plugins installed. If you disable 2 of them, so only one's enabled, then try the website again, okay, and see if that makes a difference. There should only be one Shockwave Flash plugin enabled, so when you scroll down, you'll see Shockwave Flash, and there'll be a square next to it, and you can disable and enable it. So disable 2 of the 3, or 1 of the 2, so only one's enabled, and then restart the browser and see if that works. If that still fails, disable all of them, and then reinstall the browser, reinstall Chrome, see if that makes a difference.
Super.
The other thing they could try is if that doesn't fix a problem, if they go to Firefox and see if Firefox can display the Adobe content.
Yeah.
If Firefox can't, then maybe it's something more fundamental with the machine. If Firefox can, then it's pretty much a Chrome browser plugin. And also make sure you've got the latest version of Chrome.
Okay, and if that listener who actually left us with that question, keep us updated on that, we can answer any other questions that you may have as well in regards to that problem, if it continues after the advice that Ghufran's given. Moving on to the next question, is it really worth buying a TV which is of a well-established brand like Sony or Panasonic? Is it not better to buy a non-expensive make like LG, or even a make no one has ever heard of, and save loads of money?
Okay, that's an interesting question. So first of all, I'd like to say that it's a really good question, and the answer, like always, it depends on the person's circumstances. The TVs that are like Sony, Panasonic, even LG, I would put LG in that category as a well-established brand. So Sony, Panasonic, LG, Pioneer, Samsung, and so on, they all seem pretty much they're well-established brands. If you have a budget of, say, £200 for a 40-inch TV, then that puts you in that category of getting a non-expensive make. And those non-expensive makes you'll find from a lot of the supermarkets, Tesco branded TVs, Aldi, Lidl, Sainsbury's. They've all got their own brand of TVs. Those TVs, if you look at the where they came from, the manufacturers probably weren't interested in looking at the end quality of the product. It's a functional TV for a specific market, and that will probably do the job. But if you want to get a TV where you're going to be displaying lots of high-def content, and you want to have that peace of mind of a warranty guarantee, and you want to know that if something goes wrong with it, you're going to have support available by the manufacturer, and also technicians who can actually fix that TV, then it's worthwhile spending a bit more and going for that established brand, such as Sony and Panasonic, because you'll find the actual outside of the TV might look the same. The cheaper TV may have kind of a LED type of display, may have aluminium. It may really look really stunning, but if you were to open the TVs and look at the internals of them, you'll find the Sony type of TV will have much more advanced technology, precision engineering than the cheap TV. So that's what you're paying for. You're paying for all that investment that those companies have made in getting the technology spot on, certainly for maintenance and upgrades and so on. right? So that's what you're really paying for.
So basically, what you're saying is it might look shiny and fantastic from the outside, but you won't get that peace of mind with something like like that. If it broke down, for example, one side of
Yeah,
it, I
sure.
guess the customer
Sure,
care
sure.
won't be there. There's not that experience there either, and the product itself doesn't have that long of a lifespan either. Would you say?
Yeah, I said it. And then one of friends of mine, I've never actually opened a TV, but he was telling me a story a while ago that when he was young, he would always open TVs and saw his father doing that, or his friends doing that, and he got into a shop where the guy was always fixing TVs, and for the high-end TVs, when something went wrong, it was pretty much one specific part that would go wrong, so they'd open the TV, replace that part, nice and easy. It was just a plug-and-play job. Take out the faulty part and put in a brand new part. Whereas that's a cheaper TV. When the cheaper TV went wrong, they'd open that and they'd literally see wires everywhere. So when you've got like hundreds of wires everywhere in the back of the TV, troubleshooting that is a nightmare. No one would know where to start in some cases. So, so it pays off in the long run. And again, you can find some good deals. You see, from a price point view, I was just looking yesterday, there's even from Sainsbury's, a 32-inch Samsung LED that's going for £250. It's £200 off the market price. So you can always get those good deals. So cheap is not always cheerful. It might not work in the long run. And nowadays, it's kind of every penny we're spending is crucial. So think long term as well. And some places will give you a 5 years warranty free as well. So when you're buying that thing, make sure you find the right price. Many stores will do a price match, or also haggle on the warranty and the aftermarket service as well.
Excellent. Let's move on to our final question of the day, and that is, what are the key differences between plasma and LCD?
Okay, key differences. I'm going to look at the which TV that we should be buying and why are we buying a TV in the first place. And when I read this article, I was thinking of Brother Usher, who's a fantastic Mr. Green. I mean, there's one person in the community who's trying to enforce us to be conscious about the things we eat and our carbon footprint. This is Brother Usher. So if you look at how much our TVs are costing us, so in the market today, there's basically three types of TVs. We've got the LCDs, LEDs, and the plasmas. So if we take a 42-inch TV, a plasma, the average energy usage of that would be around 195 watts. And that would cost us about £49 a year. Okay, it doesn't seem a lot, but if we took the same 42-inch as an LCD, that would cost us £28 a year. And if we took an LED TV, which are the latest advanced technology, they don't get hot, they don't heat up as much as plasmas and LCDs, that would cost us £17 a year. So that's 3 times more efficient from an energy point of view and a consumption point of view than the plasma. They're all based on different technologies. So the plasma, they've been around for a long time. The pictures are stunning, absolutely crisp. The actual blacks are black. So when you're looking at it for a TV, one of the things you look for is how black is the black. So you'll see on some of the cheap TVs, when you display a black image, it actually appears as grey. So when you're watching movies, it doesn't give you that same experience as a high-end plasma does. But as the name suggests, the plasma TV consists of plasma gas inside 2 panels in the build. Very heavy, but they do give you that deep image, and they use much more energy. So you find plasmas you have to transport in a vertical position. You don't want to put them flat because that could do damage to the TV. And the higher you go, the more or less reliable plasmas become. So one of the reasons why you don't see plasma TVs in airplanes is because of the effect the gas has in high altitudes. That's why in all the planes and some really high buildings, you'll generally only see LCDs, which is the most common type of screen. It's a liquid crystal display. Again, that's 2 panels with no plasma gas. The LED, on the other hand, is basically the same technology as the LCD, but it's backlit with lots of LEDs. And the LED doesn't get hot, so you can have an LED on for lots of hours, 10, 20 hours, and it might even get warm, whereas the plasma would get really hot. That'll give you a lot of heat, and so will the LCD. So the actual picture quality, there's not that much to it, to be honest. I think for like the normal person is just going to be watching normal TV, maybe the odd DVD, Blu-ray with a good Blu-ray player. Most TVs now support 1080p, that resolution. If you're the connoisseur of movies, and a few of my friends have their home cinema systems with the full 7.2 surround sound, they'll notice a difference, and that they may be of the plasma kind of category. Best thing I'd say, go into a store and see the screen quality for yourself. I bought an LED TV last year. I'm more than happy with it. It was a bit expensive, but my kind of reasoning was the cost energy point of view. It's cheaper to run, doesn't get hot, and I'm really happy with it. But have a go in the store. Look at what you're going to be watching. If all you're going to be watching is Islamic channels, or you're going to be watching ARY, some of the normal dramas, a lot of those channels don't broadcast in HD. In fact, most of them don't. So you won't get the benefits from a very high-end plasma.
Yeah.
If you're going to be playing lots of video games and watching lots of 1080p Blu-rays, then you might want to look at a high-end plasma, even a high-end LCD. Compare the picture quality. But from a pure energy point of view, those figures at the end of the day, that TV that you're watching and consuming is costing you some money to run. And I'd always go for the cheaper option, and the rest could be used to do some sadaqah.
Excellent.
Radio Dawn sacrifice a sheep every year instead of using that energy to power your TV.
That's a thought, and that is clearly a thought to leave the listeners with as well, because we've gone 15 minutes over, I guess.
Yes, rambling on. We did start late, didn't we? What time did we start?
We started about 22?
Okay,
22?
I've done score 35 minutes. Yeah, 22, so really I'm 10 minutes over.
5 minutes, 5 minutes.
Sorry,
yeah.
5 minutes over. But, any callers?
No, not today. But
not today, no callers.
Inshallah, next week we can expect that. It is obviously the second week going now, so even though we're getting all these questions, that's also a big thing, that we're getting all these questions from people.
Keep the questions coming in. Keep the questions coming in.
And we'll try every week our best to answer them for them, won't we?
Absolutely, inshallah.
Inshallah. And whenever you're ready, we'll have you in the studio again.
Yes, inshallah. I'll come to the studio next week, inshallah.
Inshallah. If things go to plan, inshallah.
Yes, that's the plan.
Yeah. Any final words?
Just thank you, everybody, for once again bearing with us. And I see on the Facebook message there's quite a few likes, and there's quite a few. Some of the questions were from the Facebook group. There was one more. Is it worth buying a Mac? Worth buying Apple Mac? Just quickly from that brother. Again, all depends on your requirements. The Macs, from a pure aesthetic point of view, really do look the business. They really do. Even the Mac Air looks stunning. The other ones are the engineering, the precision of the engineering is just phenomenal that you'll see in these devices. If you're going to be doing lots of processing or whatever you can do on a PC, you can do on a Mac. You can get Office for Mac, Microsoft Office. You can do email. You can do your design work. So my answer to that question would be yes, but that's been biased because I have a Mac. It is worth buying a Mac. So, and the brother wants to look good, so yeah, it's certainly got the appeal there.
The image factor.
Is it worth buying a Mac for your wife? I think this brother is married. Yes, this brother is married. I won't give his name. I won't embarrass him. But yes, if it's not worth buying it for yourself, it's definitely worth buying it for your wife.
As a present.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll leave it there, I guess. Jazakallah once again joining us and being part of this fantastic new little venture of ours, I guess. And inshallah we'll continue this next week again at same time, same place, and Sunday Magazine Show, a segment Tech Clinic from 8:30 till 9. Inshallah, join us again next week with all your questions. Obviously, during the week, you can still put forward your questions to tech@radiodawn.com. That's our email address. Or you can leave them on our Facebook page group. Or you can text them into me at 07749538852. To myself or Brother Ghufran Shah, either one of us, and we'll make a list and go through them all, inshallah. Obviously, we're looking forward to any live calls that we get next week as well, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay, so once again, Jazakallah khair. Remember, at the end of the day, a computer is just it's a container, it's a box for ones and zeros. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the the only creator who's made the most perfect of creation, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So at the end of the day, machines are machines, and machines will go wrong. Okay, and we're here to kind of minimize the pain you get when things do go wrong.
Exactly.
I feel like a doctor now. I should have studied medicine. But anyway, all the best.
A different sort of doctor, but yeah.
Inshallah, speak to you soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm going to be signing out from today's show. We've gone way over and nearly went on to going towards an hour of that segment, I guess. Nearly hit that spot, 20 past 9. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the show and enjoyed all the different segments that we have. As always, you can leave me your feedback to my mobile number. That's 077 4953 8852. I won't be taking any more calls or any messages right now in the studio, as I'll be leaving from here as well. But if you want to email me, you can email me at tech@radiodawn.com, and that message will go straight into my inbox. Any questions, any comments, or you can text them in as well. That's entirely up to you. Inshallah, we'll meet you again next week with all my guest presenters, hosts, and team members. Till next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You are listening